Hi, my friends. This is a reminder video that everything is an offer. My name is Tara Long, and I'm very passionate about sharing and teaching natural law and all things natural law, whether that's inner, outer sovereignty practices. Um, yeah, so you can check out my links and stuff below this video if you're new here. Um, yeah, so today I want to talk about opting out. So, not consenting or opting out, as everything is an offer. An example, I just went on a trip. And so I had to go through the airport, which is something I don't love to do these days, because it is, if, I've traveled since I was young. And so it used to be a lot easier. And now there's just a lot of nonsense, right, that happens at the airport. So, the first thing is you go through the line, and now they have in all airports, even in the small town I live in, the airport there, they have taking your photo for facial recognition. Most people don't even know that you can opt out of that. So before you hand them your identification, which I recommend getting a passport, a national passport, you hand them your identification, your passport card or your passport, and said, I'm opting out of the photo or of the facial recognition. Sometimes they're like, it's just a photo. They try to tell you it's no big deal. It's just a photo. Sure, sure, sure. Right. Um, so you opt out of that, right? You can opt out of everything. It's all an offer and you must consent to it in order for them. They don't always tell you that and say, please stand in front of this. And, it's this work is really about being hyper aware of what you're being offered. Be aware of what the offers are. What are you being offered? Do you want to consent to that offer? Sometimes, yes, you get a benefit from consenting to an offer, right? But there are many times where you don't. They're just, they're always trying to surveil us, etc. But so that's the first step. And then you go into the line for the little x-ray thing where you hold your hands up and they, you know, you get to see everything that's, whatever at the x-ray machine. So they get to, it's for security purposes. Um, and then I opt out of that, right? I say, I'm not going to go through the x-ray machine. And one of the women, she said, oh, well, you know what? They tell us that, it's no more, you're not getting any more radiation than you do if you're just walking through the airport doors. And I'm like, sure. I'm like, yeah, I tend to not believe that, and she just kind of goes, yeah. So, but then they'll do a pat down. And so I allow extra time for travel because I know I'm going to be doing these things right ahead of time. I know that I'm not going to be going along with what they're asking of me. And there's still cameras all around the airport, so you're still getting your face, pictures of your face or what have you. So we can't, well, they have glasses now, apparently, that you can wear that will not be able to recognize your face. I don't know how it does that. So there are ways around it. There's clothing companies, people who make clothing companies that aren't surveillable. So there's stuff, to whatever level you wanna take it. But the truth is, if you're living in the world, and you're not living in the woods somewhere, just completely off grid, then you're going to be engaging and interacting, in the world and in the public. And, so it's not about being afraid. This isn't a fear thing. This is a awareness, standing up for yourself, your truth, your anchoring, right? So all the paperwork that we do in natural law, I mean, and there really doesn't have to be that much, just depending on what you're wanting, is important, and it can actually help you on the inside to feel your power, feel more empowered. Oh, good, I did that, and the world didn't end. I didn't go to jail, etc. But your paperwork isn't going to be the thing. Sometimes the paperwork is very important in certain instances, but If you have the paperwork, but you don't have the embodiment of who you are and that strength inside of knowing that and being able to speak it, being able to energetically portray that, right? Even if you're afraid, it's okay. But if you don't have that and you only have the paperwork is not going to be the thing that saves you, right? You are the thing that saves you. You're knowing yourself, embodying the truth of who you are, right? As a living man or a living woman, and what that actually means, which means you don't consent to anything unless you want to. So I just want to go over a couple of things here, a couple of things that are happening, and you can find like more very detailed information about all of these things. I'm not going into the detail. I'm just bringing to awareness, right? Like the airport was an example. That's one example of you, being able to, you're always able to, but really speaking up and saying, I'm opting out, okay? The health tech grid that's happening, the only way to really keep yourself out of that is to not engage with, quote unquote, healthcare services, right? And I'm not suggesting anybody not engage if you need to, and that's what's right for you, and that's an alignment for you. But then you just know that they're collecting all your data, all your information, all your records. It's no longer private. There's no privacy anymore. It just becomes part of this database that a lot of folks have access to. So just know that when you're engaging in the quote unquote healthcare system, the sick care system, when you're going to, and there's times that we need that, right? When there's emergencies, for example. So this isn't a judgment. This is just being vigilant and aware. Like if you do need to go to the emergency room, have a medical directive available for whomever's taking you, if you're aware and you can and you're conscious, like these are my wishes, I don't want any XYZ, I don't want any whatever shots of this kind, or because they'll do, whatever they think is the right thing for you to say, save your life or what have you. And of course you want those measures. I'm not saying that you don't, but have your medical directive, have when they ask you to digitally sign something, right, at the front desk or office, ask for it in paper, ask for it to be printed out so that you can take a look at it and you can sign, because they'll say, well, if you don't sign this, then we can't treat you or whatever. So you can sign it, but to protect your rights, you're gonna write all rights reserved without prejudice. Just protect your rights. All rights reserved without prejudice, right? If it's something where you want to protect your rights, say you didn't fully get to read the contract, maybe you don't understand it, maybe they're adding things later, whatever, you're protecting your rights without prejudice. That means no matter what, no matter what. So let's go into that real quick. So there's different ways to sign for different things. Like you can sign your name, and there's a way to sign your name. I'll put it in the notes below, but by : your name, and then you can put a comma, authorized representative, which you're an authorized representative for your all caps name, your straw man, or you can just, I do the little copyright symbol on the end of my name. And all this I teach in my course. If you want to go deeper into this and understand, and what does this mean, and why do we do this, you can take my Be Free course, which is on my website. You can check that out. But to protect your rights, it's all rights reserved without prejudice. To release you from financial responsibility, if you're signing any sort of financial document, without recourse protects you. Without recourse means you are not accepting financial responsibility for this contract or whatever it is. Without recourse, right? If it's for a loan or anything like that. Protecting you from any sort of unwanted obligation of a contract, you sign it non-assumpsit. Non-assumpsit. And that just means you are not taking any liability, or you're not agreeing, you are not consenting to this contract. You're actually not. Like, that's how I signed when I got my driver's license. I still have that. I don't use it, but I still have it for now. I just signed non-assumpsit. I didn't even put my name on it, just non-assumpsit. And then when you're forced to sign something, TDC, threat, duress, coercion. Threat, duress, coercion. Okay, that's how you want to sign that. So it takes time to learn how to do these things and why we're using certain things over others. So be easy with yourself. And again, take my course if you want to just get to the basics all the way through, like what's going on, what's happening, and what are the basic, even the just basic steps that can be taken to really extricate yourself from living in the public and thinking and acting as though you are the dead entity, right? And then there's the health tech grid. There's the Genius Act that just got passed by Trump's administration, which is regulating stable coins, right? With crypto, there's USDC, and there used to be more stable coins, but regulating the stable coins, right? So instead of the CBDCs, the central bank digital currency, which they're like, oh, we're scrapping that. However, they're going to be regulating stable coins. So it's not that much different. And it's just a matter of time before they figure out how to regulate, a lot of different coins and crypto. I mean, and I do have some, but it's not everything is in that, right? So, and then you've got, of course, the real ID, which is biometric surveillance, and eventually, what the goal with that is to, I mean, first of all, just by having the real ID, if you read what the contract is of the real ID, you're already just like giving away your rights. I mean, they can't really be given or taken away. Only you can claim the rights you have, but they're really saying, yeah, you don't have the right to this and this and this anymore once you have the real ID. And also, the goal is to use it to surveil, right? To basically be like a social credit score system, like, oh, you drove too much this week, or you bought too much meat, etc. Right? So I personally don't, I mean, I'm not getting into fear mongering. I really don't think they're going to be able to pull that off. But it's there. So if you have the real ID, and you're keeping your driver's license, go get a standard. Just cancel your real ID contract. Cancel it, cancel it, cancel it. Go say, I just want the standard license. They'll say, oh, well, you need the real ID to travel. And you say, no, I'm fine. I have my passport. You don't need the real ID for anything. They just want you to think you do, right? And then there's Palantir, which is the Trump, and I'm not political or buy into any of that, but the Trump administration did hire this Palantir company. They're like a data collection company, right? Where they have a master database for all Americans, and it's across all federal agencies, et cetera. So, just the surveillance just keeps building and building and building, right? And obviously being on if you have a phone, if you don't have a de-Googled phone or an above or something like that, we're getting tracked anyway. They're listening, all the things, right? And this isn't about the fear. It's just being aware and where you can opt out. If we live like in this modern world again, it's really challenging to not have a cell phone. It is, especially if you have work that you do, that people contact you through that, or and just social media. Just know that they're, of course, that's all algorithms and all data mining. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say today. And this, again, bring it back to you. And it's because everything is a reflection, right? I'll always remind us of that, that our the shadows out there, the darkness that's out there that we see, it always starts within us, and just by being aware of what your shadows are, being aware of them, loving yourself in spite of that, will be able to then transmute that, more and more. So, and that's the work I do with like coaching and things like that. So, If you're interested again in learning more, the link for the Be Free course is down below. I also have a Create Your Own Private Membership Association course. I also have the link down there for my acupuncture and hypnosis, which I've done for a long, long time. And I'm putting the link if you would like to just have a 15-minute consult, totally free. The link is below, and you can just sign up to chat and to see if working together is a right fit, or if one of my courses is a right fit for you, just so that you can get more information or ask your questions, whatever's going on for you, just to see if working together, because I do one-on-one consults as well, just to see if it's a good fit, because it's not for everyone, right? And this work period, but also there are other teachers and sharers and other courses and stuff out there, so you just have to make sure that you go with the one that resonates for you, right? And you can feel it here when that resonates for you. So thank you so much for listening. And yeah, see you in the next one.